BYOB, a gateway to being your own beloved. The whole new heart. The initiations kept going, and the island continued to guide me. The Honu, Hawaiian for sea turtle, came to me. She is one of my amakuas. Amakua in Hawaiian is spirit guide. I was sitting on the beach at the water's edge one evening, still in search of a place to live, when all of a sudden a sea turtle came up to my feet. Startled, I jumped back. She came up to me again. I moved back again. She kept coming out of the water and right up to me. I stayed still and let her find her space on the beach. She parked herself right next to me. I sat there in silence and gratitude with her, just taking in her energy, the beauty and the sacredness of the moment. "What is it that you've come to tell me, Honu?" I asked her silently. Home is in your heart, holy child. When you find home in your heart, your physical home will appear like magic. The sacred refuge within. There are different variations of retreat centers all over the world. You might have gone to a retreat center where you've walked into the building and felt the energy of serenity and peace, and maybe participated in a retreat there that made you feel exhilarated, connected, and alive. But when you got home, those feelings slowly dissolved and you were back into the same old, same old. This happened to me quite frequently in my quest for inner peace. I realized some years later why this phenomenon was happening. It was because the hard drive was not upgraded, meaning somewhere in my subconscious mind I had not made the change. I was still holding erroneous beliefs of lack and unworthiness. That is why we must do the inner work. No matter where you go, you take your consciousness with you. There's no escaping it. The most important retreat center one can attend is the one within the center of one's being. Home is in your heart means finding the retreat or refuge within your inner being, your sacred heart womb. When you have that, no matter what's happening in the outer world, you will remain happy, empowered, and free. In your heart, you are whole. In your heart, you are home. In your heart, you are free. In your heart, you are complete. Like the Honu who carries her home with her wherever she goes, our refuge must be within. Then our true home is always with us. When you have this type of security, you will never be homeless. You might be houseless, but never homeless. I had to change my choice of words. I understood this timeless and valuable wisdom. However, understanding it and applying it are two different things. I spent the next few days in meditation with the intention of going within to find my peace and inner security and my home. I had been working on this one for a while, so it wasn't surprising that a physical home came to me a few days later. Honestly, I think Spirit just felt bad for me and was giving me a break. I needed a place to rest my head, and it was Christmas Eve already. Goddess White Tara. When I first went to check out the new place, the price was a little high, but it was brand new and it was the first place I didn't have to clean. That was a huge factor, but the icing on the cake was the ocean view from my bed and the framed picture of the Buddhist divine White Tara hanging on the bedroom wall. I'll take it. White Tara is often referred to as the mother of all Buddhas. She represents the motherly aspect of compassion. Her white color indicates purity, but also indicates that she is absolute truth, complete and undifferentiated. When we're open and quiet, universal guidance and timeless wisdom is transmitted to us in 1,000 ways from 1,000 beings. My first spiritual awakening. I had originally moved to Hawaii with the intention of finishing my second sunflower. However, my spirit guides told me my second book was in a holding pattern because I was in a holding pattern. They planted the seed of becoming the beloved of my own heart first and reminded me that I actually had to be it before I could write about it, or it won't be authentic. Okay, why do they always have to be right? I thought to myself, despite knowing in my heart the truth all along. Excited to have a beautiful, clean, peaceful ohana with a view of the divine ocean, I got to work immediately. Time to root and rise. This was my first home in Hawaii where I had my spiritual awakenings. It was my mission to evolve in my consciousness, so I sat and meditated every day. But things seemed to be awry. I experienced a lot of frustration. While I had this beautiful new space, I also had a lack of money abundance and felt alone and deflated. I was back in my illusionary mind and mind loops. Without consciously being aware of it, I'd been holding on to this mental fantasy that Hawaii, the land, and the people were going to be the deliverer of my abundance and my savior. It wasn't until I was sitting in my new space, in the lack of it, alone and deflated, that I realized two things. One, this paradise was not going to save me. No island, no land, no people, and no man was going to save me. And two, I was the one giving myself this experience of complete lack. I, meaning my God self, was giving myself the experience of nothingness so I could sit with it and be with my own consciousness to unfold and fully peel away the layers to the core essence of my being in order to find the security within my own heart. Genius. This was a whole new level in consciousness. This was self-mastery at its finest. When you are in it and you know in the back of your higher mind that this is you creating the struggle for yourself, so you can resonate something different and recreate something different. I got up to dance. I was singing and dancing to the song From Now On by Hugh Jackman from The Greatest Showman, and feeling happy that I finally was home in Hawaii when it hit me. It wasn't about Hawaii being my home, it was finding my true home within me. I was returning to the home in my heart. Your visions will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes. C.G. Jung. The Honu's message had finally sunk in. In that moment, all the teachings, all the wisdom, all the times I heard, all you need is within, went from my intellect to my heart and into my body. I got it. I cried and cried. It seems like a theme in my life. But this time, they were tears of joy. Home at last. It was a day to celebrate. I felt liberated and secure like I had never felt before. It was a very satisfying and joyful moment. I kept dancing, so happy and feeling free. Indeed, I gleaned my sovereignty in the solitude of the sacred land of Hawaii. But to make this epiphany stick, I called in the catalyst counterpart.